In the Rye Podcast is a proud member of the Borellis Podcasters Guild. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It is a new season of In the Rye Podcast. It's going to be episode 24. Hope everyone had a nice holiday season. Today joining me on the show is going to be Matt Peterson, an old friend of mine who used to be a musician, comedian. He's an actor, a writer. He's written a movie. Now he does a lot of photography. So just a really creative person and one of my favorite people in the world also. So let's go talk to Matt Peterson, everybody. All right, what's up, Matt Peterson? How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are recording this podcast in his car, which is awesome. We're parked at the theater, which is sadly closed down.
Very sad.
I just realized I have one thing on my battery there, so hopefully it doesn't die. If it does, the audio is going to switch later on. It's going to sound different. Yeah, so you're just telling me that you went to Colorado Springs just to see a movie.
Yeah, I totally did.
That's awesome. So Matt is a big-time movie guy. He's an actor. He's actually written a movie. What was that process like, writing a movie? Abe makes a movie.
First off, thanks for having me on, man. Really stoked to see you again and hang out and be on the podcast.
I know, it's been too long.
Been way too long. I don't know. Writing a movie, it was really fun. It was two of us, myself and Ryan Turry, wrote a movie called Abe Makes a Movie, and then we shot it like a year or so later. But as far as writing process goes, it was fun, man. It was get together like 2 or 3 days a week for 3 or 4 hours and just kind of hash it out. It was fun. You know, it started really big. You know, as always. It starts like this. It was probably a saga. It was probably like an 8-hour movie when we first started, and just kind of whittle it down. And it was really fun. It's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so I was writing down some stuff from your IMDb. So I've seen you on TV a few times. I saw you on Longmire. That was pretty cool. What was that like, being on Longmire? That's a good show.
Yeah, that was really, really fun. That was my my second book gig, was Longmire. It was cool, you know. In the scene, I got to I played a fly fisherman, and I was fishing one morning. I think it was morning.
Yeah.
And I caught a couple of dead bodies.
Yeah. And it was like the opening scene of the episode too.
Yeah, it was like cool. I forget what it's called, but it's like opening, credits of the show.
Yeah.
I fished out the plot. Oh, stupid.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't even know you were going to be on that episode because I used to watch Longmire all the time, and I was like, "Holy shit, Matt Peterson! That's cool."
Yeah. Something funny happened when we were shooting. Actually, so I had like full waders, like up to like my chest, and the whole fly fisherman outfit, and they wanted me like further out. You know, kind of like walk around and position myself where they kind of wanted me. And when I wasn't supposed to fall initially in the water, and it was like February or March, so it was like pretty cold. And when I reacted to like the bodies, I tripped when I fell back into the water, but it would have been fine, but I fell like on my back, so all the water started rushing in the waders.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like kind of a hard fall. I was fine, but people like kind of walking over, but the sound guy was like running over like mad because water was like rushing in my boots where the receiver was for my audio, which was pretty great. That was pretty. He beat everybody over to get it out of your boot. It was pretty awesome. Wow. Yeah.
That's cool. I also saw you on In Plain Sight. I never really watched that show except for your episode that you're on.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't even know if it's a good show or not, but they still play reruns all the time on TV.
Yeah.
Do you ever get like 10-cent checks for that?
I get a couple $100 every once in a while. That's on that show. Yeah, they still show up, so it's good.
That's cool. Does that happen quite often, where you just get like weird little checks?
I would. Yeah. I mean, I think like a couple, 2 or 3 times a year, you'll get not big ones, but bigger ones, you know?
Yeah,
and then every once in a while, randomly, I mean, I've got them for, and I'm grateful for it all, but I've got like, 10 centers, 20 centers every once in a while. But it's still cool, It's
no, that's
still
great,
pretty
man.
awesome.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It Makes a Movie was cool. And I got to be an extra in that movie, which was super cool.
Yeah.
I actually, someone told me I was the Daniel Day-Lewis of background acting, which was nice.
Yes, you are. Yeah, that was great, man. I'm really glad we got you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man.
That was cool, man, because I'd only really been on the set of a movie once before, so I didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew there were long days and stuff like that, but like the only other time I had been on a movie set was a movie called Love Ranch. You remember that movie with Joe Pesci?
Helen Hunt? Or not Helen Hunt.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren. Oh, man, I got a story about that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So, I don't know who it was, but they booked some comedians during this scene. Were you there for this?
I might have been there. Was it the boxing scene?
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember... so for everybody listening, there's this big boxing scene at this like sports arena here in Albuquerque, and everybody's dressed up like in their 70s garb, and there was some contest. And between like takes, they wanted comedians to do stand-up sets in the middle of the boxing ring while they were, getting ready for the next shot or whatever they were doing. And I don't think we even got in there to do it, right? Yeah. But I remember sitting there, and there was 2 monitors behind us, and I remember Helen Mirren walked by or something, and they were like right behind me. I forget the other comics that were there, but I remember saying like, God, like she's really hot. And I turn around and Taylor Hackford,
the director,
and her husband was like right behind me, and I like looked at. I don't think he looked at me, but I don't think he heard it, but maybe not. We didn't say anything, but I was like, oh man. And then after that, we didn't do the comedy, so I'm not sure it was for me, but because of me. But that was really fun.
Yeah, I remember I had to leave I had to leave at one point to take a comedian to the airport who was performing that week. So I took him to the airport and came back, and no one had still performed. I had a funny story from that day too, because I kept running into this guy all day, and I knew him from somewhere, and I just couldn't figure out where, and it was bugging me. And I ran into Bryan Cranston that day too, which was cool.
Cool.
He was like a photographer or something like that during the boxing match, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him holding the camera. I've never seen the movie, but... I keep seeing this guy all day, and it's just bugging me so bad. I was like, I know him from somewhere. I thought maybe he was from Albuquerque or something. And then, like, a few weeks later, I was watching Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald.
Oh, yeah.
And he was one of the homeless guys in that movie. And I was like, holy shit, that was him, man. Like, this is one of my favorite scenes in Dirty Work is... when that guy starts talking, and it kind of like pans into him, and he's like talking about his life, and like the sad music comes on, and Norm just interrupts him. He's like, "Here's your $2." So he was one of those guys with the homeless dudes.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, damn it! I wish I would have remembered that at the time, because I would have just walked up to him and be like, "Here's your $2."
Yeah.
Opportunity missed.
Yeah.
But I did get to see Joe Pesci. That was cool.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because he came out towards the end when they were shooting. And, what a cool experience, man. Like, just seeing Joe Pesci come out.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, like, a weird feeling, like, when he came out. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
Like, kind of like a president's coming or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting when you see it, because you see these actors that you've enjoyed and all these characters they've played, and when you see them in person, it's for the first time, it's kind of like, whoa, you're kind of like fan-guying out a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit,
crap,
yeah.
There he is, yeah.
And then you're like, God damn, I'm glad I didn't do stand-up at this.
Yeah. I remember sitting there in my head being like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Because we were like the fillers, because everybody, they'd all be on their, like, telling the crowd, like, all right, act, do this.
Uh-huh.
And then when they cut, they'll be like, here's a comedian. Everybody's like, I'm going to use the bathroom, or I'm going to go eat, or... Yeah, I'm kind of glad. It was an experience to hang out and see the set that size and everything.
Yeah, that was so cool, because we were there, I was there at least 10 hours, and they were just filming the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't know. It takes so long just to get,
Especially a boxing sequence.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine piecing that together? Mm-hmm. Or, like, just even writing that. Like the fight choreographer guy.
Yeah.
Like, coming up with that. Because I know it was the same guy who did Raging Bull, so he had experience doing it, Mm-hmm. But still, like, how do you come up with that? You know?
And you shoot, it depends on how they shoot it, but I feel like they would shoot the close-ups first, right? And all of that, all different angles, and they'd have, like, handheld cameras.
And then you got to have, like, the sweat added in.
And
and, like, the cuts on their faces and shit like that, too. Like,
certain punches that hit and whatever like, the hero shot was for the win or the loss or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the big, establishing shots after that at the same time. Yeah, that's a lot of hours. I don't think I was there for 10 hours, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there a long time. I remember seeing an old buddy of mine that worked at Pizza Hut. He was on the crew. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just what a crazy experience. Like, I never even saw the movie. Did you see it?
I don't think I did.
I think my brother has the DVD.
Yeah, I might have. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I might have watched it just because, like, I don't know how many years ago, but film here in New Mexico is way huge now.
Oh, it's huge, yeah.
And back then it was just starting to happen. I think that was the beginnings of Breaking Bad and just kind of putting us on the map. I mean, it's been here a very long time, but at the level it is now, because that was like pre-Avengers.
Yeah.
And they built the studios for Avengers. And yeah, it was awesome though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I wish I had seen the movie. Actually, I was performing in Dallas, and there's a theater right next to the comedy club. I didn't even realize that Love Ranch was playing there until like Saturday night. I was like, shit, I could have gone and actually saw it before a show or something. But
yeah.
I was staying all the way in Fort Worth, so I didn't want to drive all the way back to Dallas and watch it the next day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to see what the boxing scene ended up looking like.
Totally.
So I was there for so long. Yeah. It's probably like 2 minutes or something,
Yeah. I worked, a long time ago, I worked crew on Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my job was to set up these small lipstick cameras, they call them, on the Batmobile, which is super cool, right? And they had like 4 or 5 different, Batmobiles. And I think I worked like 2 or 3 weeks before I came back here to New Mexico. But
did you get fired?
No.
You sure? I'm just kidding.
They didn't need me anymore? Yeah, no, I'm sure. Because it was all in Chicago, all like the underground lower whacker stuff, and then they were heading up north to do some stuff, and they're like, we don't really need you to do that anymore. So I set the cameras up like east, north, south, west on the Batmobile, and when Batman's driving, and he looks down on his little monitor, it like sees the Gotham police cars, and so the whole movie, I did it every day.
Oh, yeah?
And there was one scene when he's taking Rachel Dawes, the character Rachel Dawes, back to the Batcave after she got, like, hit with the stuff, I can't even think what it's called.
God, I haven't seen that movie in so long.
To make everybody go crazy.
Yeah.
And he's, like, looking down, and you see a quick little on the monitor of one of the cameras. And he's like, Rachel! Like, hang on. And I was like, yeah, that was it. And it was like 1, 2, 3. It was like that.
Oh, yeah?
3 seconds, yeah.
So did you go see it in the theater and you're like, that was me?
Yeah, I did actually. When it first came out, I had moved to Los Angeles, and my girlfriend and I went to see it. And, like, people were clapping, and I was like, yeah, thank you. But it wasn't me, obviously, but just kidding.
Oh, that's good. What's your favorite film that you've ever worked on? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, man. I mean, besides Batman Begins was really cool, but I wasn't there that long.
Yeah.
But my favorite film I worked on was probably the Bigfoot election.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
That was so much fun. It was this independent film. A buddy of ours, Mark Shooter,
yes.
Mark Shooter wrote it. And we shot in Angel Fire, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
For like 20 days.
Nice.
And I was cast, one of the leads, Amer Lewis, and I was also like the key grip and gaffer.
Yeah.
Because I'd done crew for work forever. And there was like 8 of us, but it was just we just figure stuff out. You know, we had like limited crew and like a quarter of a grip and electric truck and lights, and we just kind of figured it out like together. It was really fun. It was independent. Cool. It was cool. Just hanging out in the woods and shooting a movie for a month.
Oh yeah, the movie's great too. I remember going to the premiere of that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because I think I just moved back to town when it came out, so I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
I remember taking my old roommate Jake Sharon to go see it.
Jake, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Do you prefer acting over doing all the crew stuff?
I don't, I like the crew stuff a lot because it's kind of like, you're kind of like these vagabonds, Like if you're shooting like a scene for a day or two, you just show up in the middle of nowhere and you just create like a city or a whatever or a shot,
Yeah.
And you just hang out and you just get to know people and different people. That's really cool. Acting's fun too. I don't know. I think I like them both, I guess. I've been acting and auditioning for, like 9 years now. And before that, I was like 15 years of crew work, somewhere around there. So, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's fun acting and booking, and it's different monsters, So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I guess equally is my answer. I
understand.
Over the other.
Is that why you like the Bigfoot election so much? Because you got to do both?
Yeah. You know, strangely, it's a little more less stressful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're just, as opposed if you're just cast, like sometimes you'll go, like the last thing I was on was, what was it? Our Lady, I can't even remember the show. I'm sorry. I'll have to come back when I forget what it's called, but it was this one season of the show. And I got this really funny scene where I was this postal worker and this guy was coming up to ask me about a size of a box because he was going to put a dildo in it. And I had to like sit there and go through all these reactions, and it was really, really fun. I had to figure out what he was talking about and then not like laughing when it was. Yeah, and it was like a really funny, like a lot of tension but also hilarious scene. But you get there and you wait a lot,
Yeah.
Not complaining, but you get to you get there, you go to hair and makeup. They get you your sides for what you're going to do. And sometimes the lines change, before you get to the scene. Yeah. And then you wait sometimes because there's a lot going on sometimes and it takes forever and things happen. So it's like you get there, you're really pumped up. You want to get into it. And then it's like 9 hours later, you're like, come on in. You got like an hour of like a scene work and then like, that's it. If it's not like, if it's a small co-star role for me. But so when you're doing like on Bigfoot election, we do the scene. But before that, I'm like lighting and rigging and setting up and then kind of go into actor mode and do the scene. And that was like my first acting anything, so I don't even know what actor mode was then at that time.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, all right, cool, lunch. And then what are we setting up? Am I in that scene? So it was kind of less pressure because, you're going to like, we're going to rig something for camera or rig a car up or we're going to light a room or something. So it was kind of like you didn't have time to get in your head about things.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, is Bigfoot election available anywhere to watch? Do you know? I know it used to be on Amazon.
I think it's still on Amazon and Vudu.
Oh, really?
And iTunes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's still there. You can still, I think you can rent it and buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't think I own it at all, which I should. I feel like a bad friend now.
You should buy it right now.
I will. What was I going to ask you, so do you get nervous like when you're going into like an acting role? Is it like stand up at all, or you kind of have like where you're kind of nervous and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. Going to auditions, I used to not like them because of that.
Yeah.
You get really nervous and you get in your head and you go in. And the funny thing is sometimes you go in and it's like, all right, whenever you're ready, and you're like, look at that cat. And they're like, oh my God. And they're like, that's it. That's great. That's great, Matt.
Yeah.
And you got nervous for that. Like, it's really funny. But yeah, it's kind of the same. You get a little nervous before you go, and then you kind of like get more comfortable. Yeah. Like in an audition room, sometimes there's a line of, if it's a short thing and they're looking for, if the call's like any gender, any ethnicity, so it's just anybody and they're just looking for, and you have like one short line like that, which is awesome to even, be up for.
For sure.
But you're just going in, so it's real quick, so you just kind of go in, you never know, right? But when you go in and there's some time and maybe you have a callback or a director session and they kind of want to like see what you can do and they can like start working with you, then you're kind of like working it a little more. And that's really fun because then like try this or try something else, or they'll play a game like say it 4 different ways and do this, so you get to kind of like play.
Oh yeah.
It's like playing in a scene a little bit. That's really cool.
That is cool.
That kind of loosens it up. So
yeah.
But yeah, just like but it's similar to that initial like, oh, okay, I'm prepared, I got everything ready, and then here I go in the room, and it's just really short, or I'm not, that nervousness.
Yeah.
Just like before a set,
Yeah.
Stand up, same kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So, have you gotten to know, like, some of the casting agents, like, over the years, like, going into auditions?
Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 here that I'll see usually the same regular ones, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That probably helps, right?
What's that?
That probably helps with the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, when they're familiar, because they know you go in and see them quite a bit, so they know how you're gonna do. They brought you in for a reason because they're fighting for you just as well as like your agent and everything else. They're bringing you in because they want to push like the local talent and this and that. So they know what you can do, so they bring you in and it's a little more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that the movies and stuff they film here use a lot of local.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talent, which is nice.
There's tons
unlike Ron Bell when he does his commercials.
Good old Ron Bell.
Yeah, Keith was telling me that he brings in a crew from like Tennessee to shoot his commercials.
Does he?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. This podcast is sponsored by Ron Bell and Associates. Call 898-BELL. You've been an offender bender.
Free advertising. There you go, Ron. You're welcome.
You piece of shit. I'm
laughing. I don't know him.
I had Scotty Goff on my podcast, and he
Scotty's the best.
Holy shit. At Laughs one night, we told the story on this episode, too. Ron Bell was in the crowd when Scotty was performing, and I told Scotty before he went on stage, I was like, dude, it's Ron Bell. So he did his entire set about Ron Bell, like just making fun of him. God damn it, it was so funny.
Oh, man. God, I wish I would have been there to see that.
And Ron Bell was fucking hammered.
Yeah.
And at one point, he fell out of his chair. He was laughing, and I just remember seeing him tip over.
Oh,
holy shit.
Man. That's so great. Damn it. I wish
I and he loved it. He bought like 10 CDs from Scotty. It's like passing them out to his friends. He ripped them the whole time, and then he gave them. That's so good.
That's so great.
Man.
Years and years ago, I was a kitchen manager at a restaurant and bar downtown, and I worked during the day. Certain nights a week, we'd hang out after, have some drinks and stuff, and hang out. But we were there for some event, and Ron Bell showed up. And he's just a little dude.
Oh, he's tiny,
a little weird dude. And he had like a harem of like way younger than he should be hanging out. You know what I mean? Like 22-year-olds. And I don't know how old he is, but it was just so awkward to see. And I think he like got like a booth reserved or something. And it wasn't even, it was so weird. It was just so weird and creepy and just kind of, and he just got hammered and.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Keith on that episode, I had Keith on. He used to go to Chapter 2 and ask strippers to pee on him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that, from Keith, I think.
No, it was actually from I think this girl that used to work with us at Poppy's Pizza. Her mom worked at Chapter 2.
What was her name?
I'm not going to mention her on the podcast.
Oh, okay, that's right. Sorry.
Because it's her mom.
That's crazy, though.
I think her mom was a stripper there and told her that. Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong bell, man. I don't know.
So that's kind of cool. We met at Poppy's Pizza, right? Is that where we met?
Yeah, we sure did.
Do you remember what year that was?
I think it was like...
I remember when I quit Poppy's was 2004.
Yeah, I think it was around 2002. Okay. Because I left and moved to Chicago, like in 2003-ish.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when you left, because you were working on a movie called Ironwood or something like that, right?
Yeah. That was that was my first anything ever.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, fucking Matt's going to be a movie star.
Yeah, that was awesome. I auditioned for this. It was funny because I was like on my way to culinary school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I had a couple schools mapped out, and it was really strange. I was just like, I just always want to do this, and there was like not a lot of auditions or anything here, and I just saw this audition for this little film, Dangerous Time Productions, and I went in and auditioned, and I'm sure I was horrible. I don't even know. And then like I get a letter like a week later, like a letter in the mail, from their production office in Chicago, and they're like, we want to bring you in. And I was just like, this is cool. And they were filming here, and I just hit them up. I was like, do you need like crew? Do you need stuff I can help out? And that was my introduction. I was like, yeah. So I just did a bunch of different things in the crew, and shot the movie here, did my scene, and then I followed them and stayed on the crew in Chicago and Wisconsin and Michigan.
Yeah.
Shot our movie Ironwood.
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy, man.
It was cool, man. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, because when you came back, I think is when you started stand-up, right?
Yeah. 2005-ish?
Was it 5?
6.
Okay, I remember I quit in 2004 because my car broke down. Now, you actually, because my car broke down, I was delivering a pizza, and I was like, shit, I got this one last delivery to do. So I called you to see where you were at. And you were nearby, so you picked me up and drove me to the house.
Yeah.
And delivered my last pizza for Poppy's Pizza.
Yeah.
And then I remember I had a gig that Saturday night in Pewaukee at this casino with Russ. I told him my car broke down and I couldn't deliver pizza. And he's like, you want a job at Laughs? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So he called Laughs and told the manager, he's like, hey, Curt Fletcher starts next week. I was like, sweet.
That's awesome.
It was great, man, because, I had already been doing comedy at that point, and, I had hosted a few times at the club. But just being there all the time around comedy was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was learning so much. Plus, I was getting a lot of, fill-in spots.
Yeah, lots of work.
Especially once I started working in the kitchen, because I was there at night for sure all the time. And there was a lot of times where the MC just wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
And so I'd be in the kitchen 5 minutes before showtime on Wednesday, and they'd come back there and be like, hey, you're hosting this week. I was like, sweet.
Yeah. That's awesome. That was
I got a lot of hosting gigs while I was working there. I remember, I think it was 2006, I did 13 MC weeks, which is a quarter of the year.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, but I also had to fucking change my act a lot because a lot of times it's the same people that come in. So I was these people aren't laughing. What's going on? They're like, oh, we've seen you 3 times. Yeah, that's why you're not laughing. You know all my jokes.
Well, you were the one, you're responsible for me becoming a comic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I remember, for everybody listening, Poppy's Pizza was my favorite job I've ever had.
That was so great.
And it still is.
Yeah.
It was just the best crew, and it was really fun.
Yeah, the owners were awesome.
Yeah, the owners were great. And we used to just tell stories and laugh all the time, and you were like, hey, you tell funny stories, you should try stand-up.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember how it went. I don't know if you, said, hey, I got you at the open mic. Or if I had signed up and then you had told me that if you don't do it, you'll never be able to go or something.
Yeah.
And I had not booked it, but I got on the list for the open mic.
Yeah.
like a 4 or 5 minute set or something.
Yeah.
And I think he told me if you don't do it, like you won't ever be able to. Like, he won't let you come back. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And so for like 3 days, I walked circles around my house trying to write anything.
Oh man,
be funny.
Fuck, it's so stressful.
And I went and it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I was like, I like this.
Yeah. It's it's such a I actually did really well my first time, so I don't know how it would have gone had I not done well. But it was so crazy because when I worked there, I could always tell like who the first timers were.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because you go in the bathroom, like I would be in charge of like lighting the candles in the bathroom. There, like every once in a while, there'd be a comic in there about to puke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you going on tonight?
Like shaking.
It's not so bad. I kind of give them a little pep talk and shit,
You're gonna be great. Wait, don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Oh, I got a story about that. Like, one of my first times up there, I dropped like a F-bomb. It was, I don't know, maybe it was not one of my first, but it was, because the open mics were Sundays.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like a couple months in. And I think I'd go every Sunday, because it was just fun to be there and hang out, have a home club.
It was, yeah.
And I think I dropped like an F-bomb. And you told me, and this is just me how I react to things, but you told me like you gotta be easy on the F-bombs. And the next time I went up, I dropped so many F-bombs just to be like a fucker, Yeah, but that was great. That was really, really fun.
Yeah. I remember the first time seeing Mark Shooter over there.
Yeah.
And I remember I didn't like him at first because he did a joke that Stephen Wright had done. And he didn't know it, at the time. But I thought he was just stealing jokes from Stephen Wright. So I didn't like him right off the bat. And then I saw him. I had to go after him one time. And his whole set was just about poops and farting and stuff. He was 16 when he started.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
I remember going on after him. I was like, "Hey, was that last guy any good? I was taking a shit." And then over the year, I got to know him and stuff. And because his mom would always come, they'd drive down from Angel Fire for the open mics.
Yeah.
And I got to know his mom a little bit and started talking to her, and then started talking to Mark and became really good friends. And then we eventually became writing partners.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Like he's always been my favorite writing partner because we had similar styles,
Yeah, you guys
So
did.
it's so easy to write with him. And I even came up with this writing formula that we did where we would write setup lines for each other. And then we just had to write the punchline. And then whoever wrote the punchline, gets the joke. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
So we would get together and write like 50 of those at a time. And it's so funny because like towards the end of those, like we'd be writing at like Barnes and Noble or something like that. And like, some of our topics were the same because this is based on books that were sitting around us.
Oh, right.
We both had like a Celine Dion joke because her autobiography is sitting there. So that was always fun. And then we ended up writing a film together, which was cool. And I hope we film it someday.
Yeah.
And
then he wrote the Bigfoot election.
Yeah.
That I worked on and was in.
Yeah.
It's a small circle.
So, yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, so the movie we did was The Consequences of a Feeble Mind.
Oh, I remember the script. Yeah.
So we entered in some contests and did pretty well. We made it to the finals in 3 different contests, I think, which was super cool. And then one of his sitcoms made the finals of a script writing contest, too.
Was it Law Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you ever read that?
Yeah, he sent me it, and he wanted me to be in it, and I thought it was really cool, too.
Yeah, it was a great idea. And I wish he was not such a negative person, because I think he could go so far with writing, and I think he's just so negative,
Yeah.
Which was cool working with him. Like, I was kind of scared to write a script with him, because I was like, man, what if he just totally shits on my ideas,
Yeah.
And he didn't at all. Like, if he didn't like an idea, he would tell me, and he'd tell me why, like it wouldn't work or whatever, which was cool.
Constructive.
And I'm always a pretty positive dude, so I think we worked well together on that, even though it took probably 3 years to finish.
Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, because I was on tour all the time, and he was, he was working in Santa Fe at the time, so he was commuting all the time. So we would only have 2 or 3 hours on some weekends to hang out, Yeah. And then I remember when we were almost done with it, we just said, we said, fuck it, we're going to finish it. So we went up to Angel Fire for a weekend and just turned off our phones and everything and just knocked it out.
I love it.
Yeah.
You gotta do it sometimes,
yeah, it was fun,
right?
man.
Yeah.
And, so hopefully we film that, man. So we put a lot of work into it, and I think it's pretty good. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I hope so, too.
And, what a fun process, too, because I didn't know anything about screenwriting at all. And he taught me so much, like, over the course of those 3 years, like, doing it, and then he let me read some books on how to, write, like, format it and stuff like that. So that was really helpful. And, fun times.
Yeah, I love it.
So you're also a musician. Tell me about that, dude. I didn't really know you in your musician years. Like, you played some acoustic guitar at Poppy's once in a while.
Parties.
You came in,
was a big deal.
yeah.
Camping.
You came in with that tape that one time with the song on it about a girl from a rap video or something like that.
Oh, god damn it. I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I think, oh man, that was like pre-bands, but
yeah,
I'd play, it was kind of like comedy, I think, at parties. Like,
after
a while, I'd pick up a guitar and somehow get people to be quiet and, like, improv silly shit. And,
that's great.
Yeah. And then after that, it kind of led into, playing with my buddy Mike Pfeiffer, or Fife.
Yeah.
We both kind of taught ourselves guitar at the same time, except when I was doing that, I was living in Maine, and he was living here. I took off. Just got tired of New Mexico at that time, and I took off. Just go check out the East Coast for a while, and I taught myself to play guitar. Came back, and we started playing, and then just learned all the songs of our favorite, punk bands.
Yeah.
And then started a band.
Oh, that's cool.
Did that for a while. Recorded a record. I don't even know where it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
Damn.
I think I have a copy of it somewhere, or someone has like a tape of it. Our bass player still lives here. I could probably find it, but and then that was awesome.
Yeah.
Played all over town a bunch, and then started another band later with some guys, and then that fell apart like a year later.
Really?
Yeah, just kind of. We worked really hard. That was like the hardest I ever worked. We got a practice space. My buddy Tim and I were the two guitarists, and it was funny because it was this musician and producer had this like lot, and he had his recording studio, and then he had this other building, and we rented the other building, and it was like the walls weren't finished, so it was like the sheetrock. So when we left that space, we had like 20 songs, and we'd write them all the chords and everything all over the walls, and sometimes little bits of lyrics.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to sing, and he wanted me to sing, but I didn't want to sing.
Oh, really?
I just wanted to be, one of the other guitarists.
But
we worked so hard. I remember I'd leave Poppy's after like a 12-hour shift and drive all the way downtown Borellis or whatever and get to that spot, and we'd play till 5 a.m.
Nice.
Because we could. It was like by the river, there's no one around, and
cool.
It didn't work out. 2 guys just decided they didn't want to be in the band. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that was my last like band thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of like a backbreaker because we worked so hard.
Yeah.
We actually recorded a like 6-song with no lyrics, like kind of like EP for that we were gonna like use to try to find like a singer, but
oh, really?
Yeah, and I was really proud of the music. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I have this CD of it somewhere.
Oh, really?
And there's some parts of it I'm still like, man, that's still great. I really love what we did there, But shit, that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah, 20 plus years ago probably.
Yeah. I got to sing with my friend's band one time in high school.
Yeah.
because they were recording, and I'd been to their practices and stuff like that, but I was never old enough to go to their shows or anything. So they were recording that day, so they were just going to play all their songs all the way through. And I was like, man, I'm going to skip school and go check this out. So I asked them if it was cool. I was like, you guys won't rat me out or anything, right? And they're like, oh, no, come on down. So I'm there, and my mom shows up. Like, she got out of work early that day. And she shows up with one of her friends. And she's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, shit. So I was skipping school. And so my friend Derek, who's in the band, he goes, oh, I invited him to see if he'd do a song with us. I was like, oh, sweet. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then she's like, well, have you guys done the song yet? And he's like, no. I was like, fuck. He's like, we're just about to. And so I was like, son of a bitch. So I go up there and he's like, hey, do you know any lyrics to our songs? I was like, I can do the chorus for Walk Among the Dead. He's like, okay, cool.
That's awesome.
So we just recorded Walk Among the Dead. So he sang the verses and I sang the chorus.
Oh, man, that's great. That's awesome.
And I had a copy of it somewhere for years, and then it was on a cassette tape. So
the ancient cassette tape.
It's gone now.
That's
I wonder if
so
those guys,
great.
if any of those guys have the recording, but
I bet somebody
a terrible
does.
Singer.
I myself and probably the audience all want to hear that. If you find it, you should throw it.
Oh, if I find it, I'm definitely
throw it on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Soundbite.
For sure.
Here's my chorus.
The Disco Chickens.
That was the name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny because Derek is still a good friend of mine, and he lives in Iowa, and he sent me some songs that he wrote last year or whatever, and one of them just fucking cracks me up so much. He's singing about how he got an ice cube stuck in his asshole. Oh, that's so hilarious. Because it's so funny because he's a lawyer now. So it makes it even better, you know.
We have a meeting, you guys. Listen to this. Listen to this song.
I'll have to ask him if I can put the song on the podcast.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
That's so funny.
Definitely.
All right, we got to wrap up in a little bit. I wanted to ask you, so the thing you're doing now is photography.
Yes, sir.
Which is awesome. How long have you been doing that?
Not too long. I shot with my phone forever.
Yeah.
For like 2 or 3 years.
I remember I actually have a picture of you taking a picture.
Yeah, I think
That's like one of my favorite things to do is take pictures of people taking pictures.
Yeah. I have a few that you've done that before. Yeah, after shows and stuff. Yeah. I started. It's just a weird time in my life. It's when I got sober.
Yeah.
And I just started kind of like exploring and hiking and just shooting with my phone and learning to edit that. And then 2018, I got my first camera and just been crazy obsessed ever since.
Yeah, dude. Fucking you have some great shots, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
So, okay, you have 3 Instagrams.
I do.
Which, they're all awesome. They're
Thank
all,
you.
like, totally different. So, okay, I'm going to mention this Instagram so you guys can go follow these. First one is Matty Thor, which is MattyThor. Then there's Matty Thor Ports, Ports. Then there's Matty Thor _abstract. Is that right?
Yep.
Cool. Please go check those out and buy some of his pictures too. They're awesome. Like all 3 of his Instagrams have super cool photos on there. I love the ones with just the people. Like those are so damn good.
Oh, portraits. Yeah. Thanks, man.
God, those are great, man. That's like.
Thank you so much.
It's cool because it's a lot of people that I know on there,
mm-hmm.
and it's just such a cool shot of them all the time. Like, you made John Cuellar look good.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, that's stuff to do.
No!
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, John's a
I'm totally kidding.
fella.
No, he is. I love
Thanks,
John.
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but everything's great, man. So go check out Matt's photos on Instagram. I'll make sure I put a link on there for that. Dude, it's been awesome talking to you, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
it's so cool to
great.
catch up. Because we haven't seen each other since... I don't even remember when.
Before COVID.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we saw each other in 2020.
I don't think so either.
Because I wasn't even living here.
Yeah, I was here and I was in the Pacific Northwest for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably, probably was last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the year before last.
Yeah, 2019. Remember that year? Holy shit, that was great.
Jeez, that was like, what was that, 20 years ago? That's crazy.
Yeah, so thanks so much, man. I'm excited for your future, and, you look great. It's nice to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. So thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
good to see you as always. Sorry,
He just hit me.
I just hit.
Yeah.
Oh, can I tell that story? Do you have time for that real quick?
About what?
When I accidentally elbowed you in the face?
Oh, fuck yeah.
So...
I forgot all about that.
Myself and I started a tour with myself and Curt and Eddie Stevens and Keith Breckenridge called Why the Long Face Comedy Tour.
Best comedy tour ever.
Best comedy tour ever. And we were doing a show, and we had a New Mexico run for like 4 shows or something, and we were at a show in Santa Fe. It was a fun show. Nobody's there. Crazy heckler. I got a little upset with them. Made the show super dark. I ruined the show, that part, my set, because I could not let this guy keep talking. But anyways, we were walking out after the show, and I'm like 6'4", 275 pounds, and I think sometimes I'm like a little active child. And I remember like throwing my arms up for a photo, and I brought them down and accidentally elbowed.
Yeah, my face is right there.
Oh man, I still feel bad about it.
My glasses fell off, I think.
Yeah. I think there's a photo somewhere on social media after it happened, and your glasses are off, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we're on tour," and you're like, "This motherfucker." I apologize. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man. It happens. It's not a big deal. But I forgot about it, probably because of the concussion.
I'm laughing. That's hilarious. No, I'm
Brain
sorry.
injuries.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Thank you so much for having me,
Absolutely.
man. I'm so stoked to see you and hang out. And,
for sure, buddy.
I love everything you're doing right now, man. Keep crushing it. And
hell yeah, you too.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Love you, buddy.
Love you. Cool. That was fun talking to Matt Peterson in his car at the theater. Man, that's crazy. I haven't seen Matt in over a year. So we used to hang out quite a bit and do shows together all the time and things like that. It's just crazy to think 2020, just how many people you don't get to see that you normally do get to see, But I do have a gig coming up this Saturday. Was it the 16th, January 16th? I'll be in Hill City, South Dakota at the Naked Winery, headlining that show. And I get to take my good friend Don Morgan with, which is very exciting. He always makes it a fun trip. Then I over the holidays I got to perform at Laughs in Tucson. I got a headline out there, which was nice. And I did 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday, the 26th and 27th. I had a lot of fun out there. I got to see some old friends. Got to see Stephen Briggs popped in and said hi. And got to do a set with Butch Lord. And got to perform with Craig Gass, which was really cool. And they had some really cool local guys opening the shows too, which was nice. And the shows were fun. Kind of smaller attendance, but with the social distancing, of course, it's going to happen. So the crowds are a little different than usual, but I had a really good time. The Sunday show was a lot of fun. I was kind of stressed out for Saturday because I had to wake up early the day after Christmas and drive all the way there and then perform. And I didn't feel like I was as sharp as I could have been. So then Sunday I worked on my set a lot, and the show went a lot better. I felt a lot better about that. So it was a lot of fun. I'm excited for the new season of the podcast. Appreciate everyone that tunes in all the time. I've got a website now for the podcast, intheryePodcast.com, which has every episode on there. So if you can't find it somewhere else, you can just go to intheryePodcast.com. I've got audio link and video link for all the episodes. This one was just an audio recording, but I'll still put the audio recording on YouTube. So if you want to watch on YouTube, I'll put some of Matt's pictures on there and stuff like that. But I am excited. I've got some cool guests coming up. Jason Russell's going to do the podcast again. He was my third guest when I started this thing, and he wants to record another episode. And then Paul Bond is going to be on soon, hopefully next week. And then I'm going to record a solo podcast at some point to kind of want to tell the story of my first time ever doing stand-up and the months leading up to it and stuff like that, because this is my 20th year in stand-up comedy. It's kind of crazy to think about. So thanks again to everyone who tunes in, and also special thanks to John Singleton from Anesthesia for the outro music, and thanks to Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup, who's still working on the intro music. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.
Looks like we're fucking having sex in here.
I know. That's awesome.
Is that still recording? Because that'd be hilarious.
I wish. Just shut it off right before. Oh, that was so fucking funny.